Unless you crack open a history book or do extensive research, it can be hard to learn more about your local history. But as Summer Roddershot shows us in tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, one person is helping educate others in the Sioux Falls area.
Welcome back to the Local Lou podcast.
Lori Kent has always had a knack for local history.
Even as a kid, I've always loved going to museums, and I actually have a picture of me, as a kid, in a local historical society t-shirt. It's always been my jam.
This passion inspired her to want to help more people understand the history around Sioux Falls.
As I've gotten older, I'm not taking everything as face value anymore. So I want to look into it and understand why these words got on this marker.
Which is why she started a podcast called Local Lou.
I'm into local history, and that's what the Local Lou podcast is. So I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I always say local is just wherever you are.
Kent likes to focus on historical markers and breaking down the stories they share.
What do they really mean? What's the full story? What are we missing? What's the incorrect date that makes it onto the marker? Just because it's etched in stone or stamped on a historical marker doesn't mean it's true.
History really is storytelling, but just doing it factually. And she really does do the deep dives. Even listening to her talk about how she finds newspaper articles, and she literally, one time she told me she knows the groundskeeper at certain cemeteries. She does, she does all the checking that a lot of us don't do.
The reason she originally started reading historical markers is a bit of a funny story.
I was really into Pokemon Go, and I actually lived across from a historical marker at a park that I always thought, oh, I wonder what that says. I lived across from it. So I went and I read it, and it was about Jesse James and his brother coming through Sioux Falls after the most famous bank robbery, the Northfield bank robbery that they committed.
Fellow podcaster Natasha Whitmack thinks one thing that sets the Local Lou podcast apart from others is how she tells the stories.
I like that she makes history kind of approachable. It's not a lecture, it's more like a story. I like that she does stories about people whose stories aren't always told.
Kent also tries to appeal to all demographics.
I think because she does make it approachable is kind of why younger people are into it. When you're talking about historical stuff, but you're still using some of today's slang or putting it in today's terms, it's a little, you're like, okay, I get it now. It's kind of like the East Coast, West Coast beef.
History doesn't have to be for the retired. It can be for a 12-year-old. It can be for a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever. And so I love the idea of these pieces of our history, not only making them onto historical markers, I want them making it to happy hour.
And by doing so, she's helping people learn more about the city they call home, one podcast at a time.
I just love that kind of way of connecting the community, keeping history alive.
With Eye on KELOLAND, I'm Summer Roddershot.
And we've posted a link to find the Local Lou podcast under the story on KELOLAND.com.